So, I mean, on this channel I showcase various different amounts of videos, but today is a bit of a different one. So, yeah, I have been studying technical theatre, and timecode on ETC is a bit meh. You can do it on ETC console if you're fortunate enough to own a gateway, or you use like an old Ion that's already got MIDI ports on the back of it, or you have an SMPT gateway, or you just completely use a Grandmay. I am somewhat familiar with Grandmay, but it's not my software of choice, so obviously I've gone through effort to try and get timecode working on EOS. Now, it's very easy to do it with a piece of software called Reaper. However, I'm not talking about doing it on the computer. I'm talking about doing it between a machine, so it can even be a computer, it could be QLab sending this timecode, it could be anything, sending it to an actual lighting console. Now, unfortunately, I don't own an actual ETC console, and I've yet to try this on one. However, I hopefully will leave a comment a few days after this video goes up, just so I can say, hey, it worked, or hey, it didn't work. But the setup I've currently got at the moment, which if I can show you, I currently have a laptop here running Reaper, as you can just barely see. I have two of these are USB to MIDI. I've got the third one here which looks a little older, very old one this was. So you just literally have a USB on one end, you have this big box in the middle which shows if it's receiving USB, and then you've got the send and receive LED indicators, and then you've got 5-pin DIN here for out and in, or in and out, where one's labelled what. And I've basically got two of these adapters linked up, and the way that I've connected them together is I literally run on Amazon and I found this is an 8-pin DIN coupler. As you can see, there's 8 pins in there. However, you can if you line it up correctly to a 5-pin DIN, it will work perfectly fine. So this is literally just a short coupler. Hopefully, can I find it? Yeah, here we go. So you can see this. I can try and read it. So this is the out, this one here coming from my laptop, and then this is the in, this one here going to my computer, literally linked up. And basically that gives me the ability to press play on my laptop and receive an external timecode source. Obviously I don't want to play that track too long, because obviously I will get absolutely copyright striked for it because it's YouTube, but it works. Kind of. I was running into a lot of issues at the start. For whatever reason, sometimes when I was pressing play on the timecode, it would work, and then after stopping it, for whatever reason, the USB indicator, so the USB indicator being this one here, which constantly stays on. So by the way, this one also has 3 indicators, being USB, so if the device is being used by your PC or desk, and then you have in and out as well. And it kept on going out, so then I was trying different adapters, different combination. Obviously that's why I've got this one here as well that I was trying out. And at some point along the way, after modifying Reaper settings, I got it to work. I have no idea how, but it just works. If you want to have a look at what I've got on my Reaper, I can show you. I've got it on this machine as well. Although obviously I've been evaluating, so I have to. Well, yeah, I will buy a license for Reaper, how much it costs, so, because it's a really good bit of software. So I've just got a basic timecode generator, as you usually would, which is obviously output in MIDI, not LTC. We're not using a gateway. And then I've got it coming. It's not on here, but it would be if I had it set up. But I have it coming into the USB MIDI here, and then obviously I've got it going to, I believe it'd be this one. Obviously it's on my laptop, so it's set up for this device here, Reaper running on this. But I've set it up just like you would with any other MIDI device, really. So like any other tutorial you follow to link ETC to EOS, Reaper to EOS, you're basically following that, but instead of having it on the same machine and using a program called Loop MIDI, which you can see I have used previously, you're instead using a physical cable. Obviously the whole point in this is to use it with a desk or a console, whatever your preference you call them, I've not. So if someone's done this on a console, like, it'd be great if you could leave a comment, because this isn't really, well, there's a lot of stuff with ETC that you can't really find on YouTube. You can find like official video guides, sure, but trying to do stuff like this, you don't really see a lot of videos of it, and the few that exist aren't really specific to what you want. So hopefully this clears something up. But just to recap, I've got two USB MIDI to adapters, and the ins and outs are coupled with one of these. I will leave links in the description to where I bought them off of Amazon. And as far as I know, any adapter will work. Obviously this needs a minimum of 5 pins. This is an 8 pin, but the pins obviously line up if you put it in correctly. And any generic USB to MIDI will work that doesn't require a DVD or additional drivers. There is one way to check. So if you want to buy one adapter at a time, just to see that you've not screwed up, you can plug your adapter into your computer, and then if you just come into Device Manager, come down to Sound and Video Game Controllers, and you'll see USB MIDI. You should be able to come into, I forget where it is. Oh, here it is. Right. So you can see, if you come into Events, I didn't mean to do this snap-in thing. We'll just, can't make it bigger. Bloody Windows. So you can see here we've got device configured and then WDA USB.inf, and you can see here it says the driver name, and you can see that this is provided by Microsoft as well. So it kind of it is just a generic driver. I did read something as well which told me where the driver was exactly, although I can't remember. Our driver details here, there it is. So you can see that all of this is under System 32, so it's not actually really had to download anything, as far as I know. If you really want to foolproof it, just unplug your Ethernet, disconnect your computer from the internet, plug it in, and see if it will be able to set the device up. But you can see here that it's using just Windows drivers, whereas if I was to come into AMD, for example, this is in driver details. No, it's actually using, I'm just trying to find something that I can show you that's using third-party drivers, but I think it all gets installed anyways. Okay, what I said might not be a best way of checking it. But as far as I'm concerned, a generic USB MIDI will work perfectly fine, because supposedly, I think it was in, from what I've been reading, I believe it was EOS 2.6 or 1.6 that they introduced support for this. So you could use this on, if you have an old Ion that can't run Windows 7, for example, this solution should work. But then again, you shouldn't need to use one on an old Ion because it has MIDI built into it, so you literally need one of these adapters coming from your PC or if your Mac or whatever you're going to run it through. But yeah, this is my kind of play around in it. Hopefully this video is a little useful. It's not really a tutorial per se, but it's just the way of timecode really that hopefully works, because people, I read it so much, people try and use OSC, which will work, but it's not reliable for a clock. And the other way, but there's a cheap way of doing this, and what you do is you simply have your lighting desk connected to your laptop per se via an Ethernet cable, and you just run the laptop as the primary console, but obviously you'll need a Nomad dongle, so if you don't have one then it's going to be an extra 300 to 600 quid depending if you're a student or not. But you can run your actual laptop in primary mode and then have your desk as a client, and then you can use the outputs from your desk if you enable outputs in client mode. And it does work per se, but I don't think it's the ideal solution. This stuff with, I say bollocks, and it kind of is. This jankiness with these adapters also isn't kind of ideal. I was running into issues with them, but they are behaving themselves now. So I've yet to further test this, but if whatever occurs, either after I finish uploading this video or what, I will definitely post an update in the comments. But yeah, that's all I have to say really. I'm not really good at saying bye on YouTube videos. I don't really record them that often, but hopefully this kind of helps you. And if you do end up doing this, or you've already been doing this, please let me know, because you know, I've not really heard about anyone from this. I've seen like one Reddit post behind the idea of this, and that's about it. So this is kind of the proof of concept, although I've still yet to test it on an actual console.